Matt and Big Al present the Gamertime Podcast.
McSorley from the goal line, slant, and there's Hamler, the speedy freshman. They'll never catch him. KJ Hamler, touchdown. Welcome to college football.
All right, here we are. We are back. The Gamertime Podcast is back and ready for Week 15. Your locks are here. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks, but we're back. We're slow and steady. We're going to finish out the season strong. My name's Matt, and of course, my co-host, Mr. Big Al.
How you doing, everybody? It's good to be back. Sure you all stuck with us. I know you've been wanting some more of Big Al and Matt's locks, but we'll bring it back to you again right here, right now. So
Yes,
we're ready to go. We're actually going to start with some baseball. Now, Matthew, your beloved Yankees
Yes.
just made a deal for Derek Cole, but they gave up Didi.
Right.
And he actually went to the Philadelphia Phillies to upgrade that roster. So I heard a lot. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I've been hearing a lot of good things, but also hearing a lot of bad things about the Phillies trade, or the Phillies signing with Didi. Do you like that? Is it worth the cash to sign him when they had Segura?
Well, Segura played well and all that, but I think that I've really liked Didi in New York, and I was following some of the free agency signings and things like that, and I know that the Yankees were going after Cole and even Steven Strasburg. So when I saw Strasburg re-signed in DC, I said, okay, well that's done. And then out of nowhere, I saw that the Phillies signed Didi, and I was actually very surprised because I didn't even realize that he was, a free agent or whatever, or up for a new contract. So when that actually happened before the Cole signing, so I was like, ooh, I wasn't all that happy about it, and then I saw the number after they signed Cole. And I realized, okay, well, that's probably why they wanted to free up as much cap space as they could. So, it's understandable when you got a pitcher like that. But on the Phillies side of it, I do think Didi is a very good, extremely good player. I think that I underestimated his age, though. He's actually already 29, which I was thinking he was, under 25. But he is a little older than I thought he was, but he's a solid player. I think he's going to be a good addition for the Phillies, in my opinion.
Well, I would hope so. And so does that mean Segura is out and he goes somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Unless you try and move some things around and try him at a different spot on the field, or even try Didi somewhere else or something. I don't know, but I wouldn't know. That's all. I guess that all depends on who's a better fit.
Right, and what I was actually looking forward to, even though I don't think it's going to happen financially, I would love for the Phillies to get Anthony Rendon from the Washington Nationals. He's a great bat and good leader too. So someone's going to make that move. I don't know who's going to get him, but I'm pulling for the Phillies to bring him in and make this team better, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, speaking of baseball, you and I are gamers, and this, for a while, and I'm sure you've played this too before, but MLB The Show is always on PlayStation. Well, you and I recently seen that it's coming to more different consoles now. It's coming for Xbox and some other things. What are your thoughts on that, and how's that going to play out?
Yeah, man, this is big news for baseball fans, for Xbox fans. This is quite the surprise I didn't think was going to come anytime soon. So, MLB The Show is not only the best baseball game out, but it's pretty much the only baseball game out. Now there's RBI baseball and some of that other stuff, but as far as the simulation sport games and, you know, authentic sport games, MLB The Show is the top of the baseball charts out there right now. So the interesting thing though was that this is a game created by Sony. Sony owns MLB The Show, and you know, like everybody knows, Madden's EA Sports and NBA 2K is 2K Sports and stuff like that. So like, but Sony actually owns MLB The Show. So you have Sony as an owner is selling their product to their rival Microsoft, Xbox. So it's very interesting to see that deal go down, where they're actually putting, and the current iteration of the show, MLB The Show 19, is probably the best one yet. They're saying that everybody is playing this one this year, and they're at the top of the charts as far as, you know, their past and all that stuff, and they're actually selling it to their rivals in Microsoft and Xbox. No, they still own MLB The Show, but they're going to be selling their game through Xbox as well as PlayStation. So it's a very interesting move, and I think that now the article said this probably the earliest this could happen is 2021. So next year, MLB The Show 20 will still only be for PlayStation, but the following one for 2021, that one will hit Xbox shelves. And yeah, so they're in my opinion, that's a bold move, but yeah, it's interesting.
I second that, Matthew, and you know, I kind of miss like the old school games of the Triple Play 99.
Oh, and, hell yeah. MLB 99, yep.
MLB's MVP Baseball by EA Sports.
Yep.
You know, who knows if they'll come back or not, but you know, that's good that Xbox can get some baseball games in there and compete. And
yeah, I think it's interesting if you keep talking about the whole deal about the NCAA allowing college athletes to be paid for their likenesses and things like that. This is EA Sports was famous for this when they took a huge jump on all college sports as far as video games. Like they had the March Madness games, they had NCAA football, they had college baseball, they had all this different stuff. It's interesting to follow over the next couple of years now that law has passed. Well, not a law, but now that NCAA has allowed it, to see how many games come back and come out of the woodworks, and how many college games and how many different ideas start sparking up. So it's going to be a very interesting couple of years as far as sports video games. I'm excited.
Definitely, we look forward to. I know you look forward to getting all the NBA games each year, and it's just we'll see what happens with the rest of them. See what comes back, what doesn't. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All right, folks. Now to the start of the show, Mr. Big Al is going to take over with his cold hard locks for Week 15. It is time. The NFL season is in its prime right now. You got massive, complicated games about to hit Sunday, and it's win or go home starting now, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Matt. A lot of good division rivalries, and just playing, good teams battling for a playoff spot and all this stuff. You never know what's going to happen. We'll get into that here. I know there's one division has a team who's leading the division with a losing record, and in my opinion, I think no one should win that division, and they should give the second wild card team who didn't make the playoffs with a winning record to that spot. But that's another story. But so let's start off the week.
All right.
We got the New York Jets this week, Thursday Night Football, going to the Baltimore Ravens. what do you see? What do you see down in Baltimore on a Thursday cold night?
Well, the word is that Lamar Jackson is a little dinged up going into this weekend, but in my opinion, I think he told the press that he's ready to go, and I don't see him missing any of these crucial games. I could see him sitting out Week 17 against the Steelers, just because we'll have the division, they're padding their stats, that type of stuff. So I've got the Ravens. The Jets just aren't that team right now, and their season's pretty much done too as well. So yeah, I got the Ravens.
All right. Well, as you foregoing mentioned, I believe his name is Lamar Jackson. The Jets are a team that, can win big. They won a couple big games this year. Dallas and Oakland, and it might have been the Bengals actually, but that's not going to stop the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today. I don't care if he's top. I don't care. He'll still have 4 touchdowns, even if he's limping on one leg out there against these Jets. I mean, come on, we're going with the Baltimore Ravens.
All right.
And the most electrifying man. All right, so now we move on to Sunday, and this is a laugher here, because reported that the Patriots were, apparently using some video footage on the Cincinnati sidelines, I guess during a practice. Now, Matthew, I asked you, if this is true, why the heck does the New England Patriots need video cheating footage against the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, this is definitely a laugher. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know why you would think that you need any type of advantage against the Bengals. Most teams are already an advantage over the Cincinnati Bengals this year. So, yeah, it's kind of just the whole conspiracy theorists about everybody. All the Patriots, they're done. They're cheaters. They're this and they're that, and they're not helping their cause. They're definitely looking like cheaters right now. But yeah, Patriots got this one easy.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, I believe their defense will step up big like it's supposed to, and as their offense is mediocre right now at best, but that'll be enough to win in Cincy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We have a battle of 2 oddball teams here. You got Tampa Bay visiting Detroit. One of the Detroit's top receivers are out, so I don't know who they look to. What do you see in Winston going to Detroit?
Well, so from what I'm hearing is that Mike Evans is highly unlikely to play this weekend. Jameis Winston is an interception machine. I cannot understand how he's got to be leading the league in interceptions. I'm not sure about that stat, but I feel like he's throwing a pick every freaking week this year. I'm going with the Lions at home just because I think the Buccaneers are... they seem to be putting up numbers, but they just can't win a game. They're, they've got a 6-7 record, but it's just, I feel like they've just been so bad at times, and then they score. They're a very odd team, like you said. I got the Lions.
All right, I'm gonna have to agree. Third game this week with you. It's just like you said, they can score points, but you never know how Jameis is gonna play, and he's on the road. It's just, and I think Detroit got their running back already, and they still have Galloway. So even without Stafford, I'll give them slight edge. They win by field goal.
Sure.
Now we're going to. Here is one of those battles, and the Chicago Bears. The Bears are going to the frozen tundra Lambeau Field and that bad man Aaron Rodgers. So with this division, anybody can win anywhere. Bears, on and off, big win against Dallas last week. Green Bay just got by Washington. Who do you like in this?
Okay, so this is the oldest rivalry in football, and it would be interesting to figure out what the win-loss record is for this rivalry, Bears versus Packers, in Lambeau. It would be interesting to see how many times the Bears have beaten the Packers in Lambeau, because this one is in Lambeau, and you never know. This time of year, it's a perfect time for some snow. It would be interesting if that game turned out to be a snow game, because that's just a beautiful thing to watch some football in the snow. But in Lambeau, the Packers are having a pretty good year. They have their struggles, but they always seem to to win the close game. So I think that's an attest to Aaron Rodgers and how good he is in the crunch time and important situations. But yeah, I got the Packers.
Okay, because I still like some of what the Bears defense can do, and I just, it seems like they can turn it. Mr. Trubisky is, it looks like after the Cowboys game back to his old self, so that might give him Green Bay a little push, but I think the bad man gets it done at home and just takes another step toward the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like the Bears.
Yeah.
Now we're another rivalry down. We're down in the Dynasty, where the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson travel to face Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans. Both teams can win, both teams can lose. Who do you like in this division?
So there were two teams that I was very surprised with their records when I looked at the standings on this past Monday. One were the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the other one was the Tennessee Titans. I'm very surprised to see them sitting at 8-5. I wrote this team off weeks ago, and I just didn't think that they were that great or even had any type of offense, but they know how to use Derrick Henry. He's an incredible running back towards the end of every year, and they've had an inspiring little bit of a comeback as far as Ryan Tannehill goes. So the Titans are looking okay right now. They're coming off a big week last week where they put up a whole bunch of points, but I think that going up against the Texans and that hot offense that they have, even though they didn't show last week against my Broncos, this one's tough. I'm gonna go with the home team. I think the Titans are gonna make a huge statement win here.
Yeah, even though I do trust Houston quarterback and how they're playing right now, they beat the Patriots, so they gotta, to me that's an advantage right there. But I wanted to go Houston. It's just because Tennessee's been killing me the last couple weeks, but I'll try it one more time with Tennessee. I'll go with the home team.
Okay.
Now, speaking of rivals, I don't know how old this rivalry is. You might know this because this is your team. The Denver Broncos going into that really hard place to play in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
Facing Andy Reid. Who wins?
Okay, so I am very impressed with my new quarterback in Drew Lock, but I'm trying my best to temper my expectations and not get a little too excited. You know what I mean? He's showing definite upside. His arm is very, very good. There are times where he can fit the ball through, and he's extremely accurate and extremely strong. And those are two good, very armed talents that are very needed in this league. Now, as far as the decision making, he's done pretty well, but he does have a few bad choices as far as, like, he threw 2 interceptions, one last week and one the week before in his 2 career games. Okay, and they were very bad throws. It was almost as he didn't see the defender, so he threw it right to the defender, and it was an easy interception. Now, those mistakes are going to come when you have a rookie quarterback. I understand that. So that's why I'm trying to temper my excitement, especially last week, because he put up 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns against a pretty good Houston Texans defense. Now, like I said, he had 1 interception, but he kind of put it all together. As 2 weeks ago, it seemed like the offensive coordinator and Vic Fangio, the head coach in Denver, they tried to slow him down and they tried to play conservative ball. Well, they took a hit in that in the press and by the fans and things like that. So they came back this past weekend against the Texans and really stepped on the gas. And I thought that the rookie quarterback responded really well. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing so far. But this is another big test against the Kansas City Chiefs to see that if he can keep up. The goal of the defense is to not put that pressure on a rookie quarterback to where he has to keep up with Patrick Mahomes or with the Kansas City Chiefs. You kind of want him to play at his own pace. Now he may be able to succeed because the Kansas City defense is not the best, but they're average to below average. So I think that he can still have some success moving the ball, but I don't want him to try and get into a mode of which he needs to try and keep up with Patrick Mahomes, because that's going to be very hard to do. So this game is in Kansas City, so I'm going with the Chiefs. I think they're the better team. But I'm hoping that because of the rivalry that the Broncos will be able to keep it close and make this one interesting, and another great game by Drew Lock. So, but I have the Chiefs. Yeah.
Okay. Before I get into my pick, Matthew, just real quick stat that we were just talking about the Bears-Packers. You were talking about you're interested to see how many games the Bears won in Green Bay. Out of 94 games in Green Bay, the Bears have won 42.
Okay, so the Packers do have a little bit of an edge.
Correct.
All right.
So, but on to my pick with this game. Denver started out kind of well in a lot of different games that I didn't expect them to. They know how to win. They can win. They played well against the Vikings. But I think this is just a whole nother atmosphere, a whole nother team. I don't see them really taking too big of a lead on Kansas City. So I gotta go with Mahomes and their hot offense now.
I agree.
All right, now we got the Miami Dolphins going up to New York to play the New York Giants, who just kind of came off a hard loss against the Eagles Monday night. Eli was back. It looked pretty good that game, but their defense just couldn't close it out. So, do you see them closing it out against Miami?
I do, yeah. The Dolphins they showed signs throughout the year, but they've put up some games. They put up a little bit of points, and some games they show what they really are, and that's a dud. The Dolphins aren't a good team. The Giants aren't that great either, but I think that they're a better team than the Dolphins, in my opinion, talent level wise. And since they're at home, I'm going to go with the Giants.
All right. I like what I saw from Eli and that last week, and it's just that defense can looks like they can they shut down the run pretty well, but they're just getting burned on the screen passes and everything. But I think Miami might give them a game early, but in the end, Giants win.
Yeah.
All right. Now we got another division rivalry here, staying in the NFC East. This one is should be a win, but you never know for either team. Philly and Washington. Washington, not much to play for. Philly looking to stay with the Cowboys in the NFC East. Who you got? Philly at Washington.
Well, I'm going to put this one short and simple. The Eagles have to win this game. Not just a little bit. They need to win by 2 touchdowns. Obviously, a win keeps them in things, and even a loss, they're still in it. But they need to show something, and they showed a little bit towards the end of the Giants game, and they closed out, and they got the win, and it was inspirational. It was momentum shifting, hopefully. But if they come out and have another dud against the Redskins, they don't belong in the playoffs. So they have to win this game.
Okay. Oh boy. I'll say I'll pick this game, and I got 2 words for you: spoiler and injuries.
Spoiler and injuries.
Spoiler and injuries. Spoiler: Washington Redskins are not playing for much, but for some odd reason they're playing well the last couple weeks, especially a win in Carolina. You got your division rivals coming in here. It's time to play spoiler. And with the injuries side of things, Philly just lost Aguilar and Jeffries and Deshaun. I mean, I got this right. I think they might sign us to play for them.
Yeah.
But if people can just stop Zach Ertz from getting open, I find I don't know who he's going to throw to. I think he does have a decent game, but spoiler, in Washington, I'll take the home team.
Okay.
Now we got Seattle, who I'm like, they're top there. They're one of the best. They just lost to the Rams, and now they stay on the road to Carolina. Do you see Seattle bouncing back from that loss in LA?
I do. I think that their defense is showing signs of kind of concern, though. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Todd Gurley is a great running back, but they kind of let him, get back to basics and kind of run all over them. And now they're playing another really good running back in Christian McCaffrey. So their game plan is definitely going to be, going to have to get a kick in the butt as far as the run defense. So, but I think they do bounce back. I think the Panthers' offense is, other than McCaffrey, they've got nothing, and their defense is beaten up. So I like the Seahawks to steal one on the road.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Like, considering Carolina lost the Redskins at home, and just Seattle's, they're on top there to play in the number 2 seed and maybe get a bye. So they're looking pretty good right now. I also see a bounce back game.
Okay.
Russell Wilson. Now here's a game. I didn't know which way to go, so I just took you'll find out. But Jacksonville at Oakland. I mean, Oakland's they're up, they're down, they're mostly down. Jacksonville's up, they're down, they're mostly down. Which up and down team do you pick here?
The Jaguars, some will say because of the whole Jalen Ramsey thing and Nick Foles going down week 1, that they've kind of, now Gardner Minshew stepped in and played great for a couple of weeks and stuff, but he's been up and down as a rookie as well. He returns as Nick Foles goes down for the second time, and I think Gardner Minshew just isn't the answer going forward, but that's a whole nother story. I think that the Jaguars are in a very odd spot. The Raiders kind of, like you said, are up and down as well, but I think that they've had some more inspirational moments throughout the year, and I think that they've got a very slight chance at trying to get to the into the wild card, but I think that they still have something to fight for. So I like Oakland at home.
All right, man. I forgot about that point that he just made, and so I almost want to change my pick, but I'll stick with my gut. And even though the Raiders, as you say, are fighting for something, I just don't really have the best feeling. So I'll take the Jags on the road as just a slight upset.
Okay.
Now we got Mr. Baker's dozen going to the desert with his boys and OBJ not happy. He's going to go down and visit Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals. Who do you like in that?
Yeah, this is an interesting battle between the last two Heisman and the last two starting quarterbacks for the Oklahoma Sooners. It's an interesting little matchup here. I honestly can't figure out who the better quarterback is right now. I think I'm leaning Baker just because of the experience, and he still, I think, has the talent. As far as Kyler goes, Kyler's still very raw. And we don't quite know how he's going to look in the future. I think that he's put together a decent rookie season, but nothing to be amazed at or anything like that. I'm gonna go with the Browns just because this is another situation where I think that they're trying to get back on track, and they're fighting for a little bit more than what the Cardinals are right now. So yeah, I got the Browns.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Matt. It surprised me when Arizona kept it close with the Steelers last week, but I forget who they got. But Arizona had a bad loss at home the previous week. I forget who shut them out, but I just think Cleveland's more talented and they get the job done on the road.
Yeah.
Now we have some other late games here. Minnesota at the Chargers. Chargers are, you never know what team's going to show up. I think the Vikings are more talented. Who do you like on the road, Minnesota, LA?
Yeah, I definitely like the Vikings on this one. The Vikings are more talented. I believe they're going to get Adam Thielen back for the first time in a month, I believe. So that's a nice little boost to the offense, in my opinion. But the Chargers aren't anything that special. They're definitely not the team they were last year. And I definitely really like what the Vikings are able to put together over the last couple of weeks. Their offense seems to be clicking. So I'm going with the Vikings on this one.
Okay. I like the pick. I'm just gonna get it a little bit closer of a game. Not based off of the offense of the Chargers, but based off of the defense. I think defense will try to keep them in it, but still the Vikings win.
Okay.
Now, Matt, this pick is for me at least. It's either I pick with my head or I pick with my heart. So, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams are in Big D, going against all the talented players in Dallas. God knows where that's been, but Rams at Dallas. Who comes out in this big battle?
Okay, so I said earlier when we were talking about the Eagles that they had to win this game against the Redskins this week. The Cowboys have a much more difficult opponent in the LA Rams. In my opinion, I think that the LA Rams are going to win this game and put the Cowboys in a very, very bad situation, because then that makes for the biggest game of the season next week, and for the Cowboys to have to go into Philly and pull out a win. I'm sorry, I just like the Rams here. They're starting to really give the ball more to Todd Gurley, and they're doing exactly what everybody was thinking that they were doing when they're saving Gurley as far as touches and keeping him healthy and for the important part of the season, and that's exactly what they're doing, because he is starting to play really, really well. His numbers are skyrocketing, so I think this is the Cowboys are struggling. I'm going with the Rams.
All right, well, Matthew, I gotta say that I calculated it, and if my calculations are correct, the Cowboys lose to the Rams and the Eagles beat the Redskins. All Dallas has to do is win out to win the division.
Correct.
But so if they would happen to lose, I'm just praying for that game in Philly for a victory and then beat the Redskins the last game of the year. So I won't be too upset if they lose to the Rams, but it's definitely one that I would like to get momentum going into Philly with. But I'm picking with my head this time. I'm going the Rams.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have a battle in the Bay between the Atlanta Falcons and Mr. Julio Jones, the man of that team, going into the Bay, battling the Niners. Who you like?
Yeah, the Niners are coming off a huge win against the Saints last weekend, and that was a shootout. That was a really big game, and Kittle, their tight end, was just amazing in crunch time. Now they're going up against a Falcons team that has really been a big disappointment this year. It was almost as if people were going into the season gonna flip these records around for these teams. I think that people expected the Falcons to kind of have a pretty good year, and the 49ers to kind of be somewhere average. And the Falcons are definitely not as good as what people thought they were going to be, and the 49ers are blowing past expectations. And being at home, I definitely have the 49ers here.
Yeah, I like that pick, Matthew. We all know about Julio Jones and Ridley and Matt Ryan and Freeman and the boys, but not against that I think that defense, even though they played Drew Brees and gave up a lot of points, I think they get back to rhythm at home against Atlanta. And, actually it might be a blowout type of game. So I like the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our Sunday night game I found kind of odd. Actually, I found the next two primetime games odd, but, that's neither here or there. But the Buffalo Bills are going into Pittsburgh Sunday night in the Steel City. Both teams looking to keep victories alive and playoff hopes alive. Who wins in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, this is pretty much a battle for a wild card spot here. This is a big game. I think I'm gonna go Pittsburgh just because they're at home, and I think they're gonna step it up as being Sunday night football and stuff like that. But this is gonna be a very, very close game. I'm gonna predict like a low scoring as well. I'm gonna predict like maybe like 19-15. Yeah.
Getting crazy on you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And I like the low-scoring game, too. Buffalo's defense is better than their own offense. Pittsburgh's defense is better than their own offense. Home team, just playing a little bit better, I think. I like the Steelers at home.
Yeah.
Now, Monday Night Football, I don't know if you're ready for some football, but it's going to happen Monday night down in Nolens.
Yep.
Where the Indianapolis Colts will try to steal a victory in Nolens against Drew Brees. Will it happen?
Okay, so I think that the Colts are kind of, they had a pretty nice start, and they were being considered for the division and stuff like that, and they kind of came back down to earth. And the Saints on the other side are a very dominant team. They had a very close loss at home to a good 49ers team last week. So I think that they're going to be fired up to try and bounce back and keep the season moving along. I definitely have the Saints here. Probably by, I want to say, at least 10.
Okay. I had the total points in that game to be 55, so I'm gonna say Drew puts up some more points, maybe three touchdowns, 3 touchdown passes, about, I don't know, give me 300 some yards. Colts, I do like them, but they're on the road. They play better at home. Give me the Saints on Monday Night Football.
Okay. Alright, so that wraps up our Week 15 of your Stone Cold Locks. Real quick before we go, I just want to say one thing. That for anybody listening, if you're interested in fantasy football, I would like to do a little bit, maybe in next week's podcast or the week after, a little bit of a season recap for my fantasy football league, because as most people play in standard leagues, I think everybody is starting their playoffs this weekend. So this is a huge weekend for everybody playing fantasy football. Of course, the ones who, are fighting for a championship. And it just so happens, Gamertime fans, that your two hosts of the Gamertime Podcast are playing each other for the semifinal first round of our fantasy football league. This is going to be huge, ladies and gentlemen. And next week you'll be able to hear exactly the score. And Big Al, what do you think, man? What's your prediction? $200. $200 is on the line.
You're asking me my prediction. Oh, that's funny, Matthew. First of all, before I get into that, that's point number one. Who is leading in that league?
Yes, for the first time in history, ladies and gentlemen, Big Al is number 1 in the standings heading into the playoffs, and actually in the playoffs for the first time in God knows when.
That's right, baby. There's a first for everything, and a first time for me, and a second time for me kicking your butt in this fantasy league. So, after I beat you, then I'm going to move on to either Connor, Tyler's brother, and whoever the heck else is in the
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
I'm taking you both on, and by the next time we do this podcast update, you'll be talking to one of the champions of fantasy football. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it should be interesting, dude. It's gonna be crazy. Just for anybody out there, the projected score I'll have you is 123.88 to 117.18 in favor of yours truly. Now, that doesn't always mean anything, but the projection doesn't lie. Mr. Kelly will be your semifinal advancer heading to the championship round?
You know, Matthew, the only reason, and I might take a harder, closer look at this before I submit my roster, but, for some reason, I picked up Boston Scott from the Philadelphia Eagles, thinking he would have a better game in Washington, and that's the only reason why your point spread is bigger than mine, because he's only at an 8, and the guy I had in there previously was in the upper teens. So don't get your panties in a bunch. Just relax. Have some coffee, popcorn if you need it.
All right.
And you better have that defense. You better hope your defense comes to play, and Dak Prescott.
All right, we'll see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. I thank you very much for tuning in to the Gamertime Podcast. Week 15 locks, a little bit of baseball news, a little bit of fantasy football in there. We have a lot of fun doing this for you all. But so anybody trying to get a hold of the show, you can email the show at GamertimeShows@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at GamertimeShows. The YouTube channel is Gamertime Shows. This is the Gamertime Podcast. Anybody's got any ideas as far as show ideas, show topics? We're running out of football in a couple of months, so we're going to be, talking about all different types of things. So, Big Al.
Yeah, and like Matt said, we enjoyed doing this for you guys, and when we got the idea to begin with, we were both fully into it, and we look forward to doing it more and more and more as the time goes on. And you can also email me personally. I know I have a couple emails, but my most recent one, you can email me about the show, suggestions, whatever, at Matt and Big Al's Cabin 2.0 at yahoo.com.
That was totally unexpected, and I love it. All right, people.
Yahoo.com, folks. Just don't hesitate. And we'll be back again, filling your minds with news and picks and whatever else you want. Just let us know. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And Penn State's going to tear apart Memphis in the Cotton Bowl, people. That's right.
Woo!
Yeah. All right. See you later, everybody.
Thank you.